Today, we're gonna make a beautiful red velvet cupcake with a bourbon frosting. It's gonna be absolutely incredible. We've infused the frosting that we're going to put on the inside with a little bit of more bourbon and cannabis butter. So it's really exciting. Flex and repeat and you say New York City. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Chef Saint, and this is food for thought. With food for thought, what we basically are trying to give you guys or serve up to you guys is some delicious recipes paired with some nice ideas. So I have some poems that I've put together with some recipes, and today we'll be doing lip gloss, which is aka war paint. It was inspired by my ladies. You guys are rich in and outward, so we're gonna make a beautiful red velvet cupcake with a bourbon frosting. It's gonna be absolutely incredible. We've infused the frosting that we're going to put on the inside with a little bit of more bourbon and cannabis butter. So it's really exciting. What I want to do right now is what we were doing just now. That's my frosting that we'll be piping on the inside. But I wanted to keep a bit of the frosting that we're putting on the outside to show you, like, we're going to be putting 100 proof bourbon in there, and that's going to really give a woody and oaky flavor to it. It's really going to make it phenomenal. So we'll be taking the whole entire bottle. To salute. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we're taking the rest of the bottle, and I've already blended my frosting. Oh, I forgot we got it. I've already blended my frosting. And absolutely delicious. And now I just wanted to not forget about you guys, because I was gonna blend in the bourbon, but I said I want to show you guys the vibes. What the bourbon is gonna do is gonna add that oaky flavor, but it's also gonna change the consistency of your icing as well. So you don't want to add too much. You just want to give a nice little blend. What I'll do is firstly is just blend it in like this, real light. And then I'll take the blender and kind of really mix it in. But I wanted to just fold it for a second. Okay. So we're just gonna take the blender and just give it a few shots. Just to get it nice and fluffy. We want our frosting to be nice and fluffy, so heat it up a little bit. We're just gonna add some air pockets to the frosting. Now also, because I've added that bourbon, I want to keep that richness of the chocolate. So I'm going to get a bit of cocoa and add to the mix. I'll only be using, if I may, about a teaspoon of, I'm just going to use a teaspoon of, excuse me guys, I appreciate you so much. Teaspoon of cocoa. So this is 100% cocoa that we're adding to the frosting. So it's gonna give it back its bitterness, because now we have this oaky, woodsy bourbon flavor that is accompanied by a cannabis earthiness. We used a Blue Dream butter, by the way. And we're just adding in the cocoa now, reconcentrating. So it's gonna add more consistency to the frosting. But again, it's something that we're having fun with. Now, you can buy frosting at the store and just utilize that frosting, because I wanted to make this easy. I wanted you to be able to pick up the poetry, read the poetry, take it in, take in the essence, and have an enjoyable bite with it. Or be inspired to go inside the kitchen and make your own thing from the recipe that we've created. Again, this recipe was inspired by women. It's a red velvet cupcake that we are spiking with bourbon and cannabis in the frosting area and that cupcake top area for its richness and high elevation, to which women carry at all times. But the inside is gonna have a bit of a savory. So what we did with the inside is we took that base of the frosting that we created, but we added a little bit more richness to it by adding some sea salt and cinnamon. So that's just gonna throw the flavor off a bit, that when you bite on the inside from that nice soft red velvet, you're gonna have this explosion of this smooth chocolate. So let's get all the way into it. Now, For the red velvet recipe, it's really, really simple. All we needed to do was a third cup of vegetable oil, which is what we put together here. I'm using coconut oil, excuse me. And see, that's that bourbon right there, catching up to you. We're using 3 eggs, and then we're gonna use a cup of water. Now, I made this really simple for my chefs out there that know how to put this together. More power to you. I really love it, but I want everybody to be able to contribute and participate in this experience. So you can go right to the store and get yourself any type. We ain't gonna boast about who this is, but you can go and get any type of red velvet boxed cake. But the most important thing that we're going to be incorporating besides love into all of these is some stuck honey. So in the coconut oil, I'm going to put a bit of stuck honey because it's going to add a sweetness, it's going to add this essence, and it's going to give a little bit of relaxation instead of elevation. As well, I'm adding a bit of vanilla, just a drop, like literally a drop, because I just want an essence. And why I'm adding it into the oil is because it's going to transfer over into that cake. It's going to be full in that cake. We can do it inside the eggs as well, but that's our wet batter. So it's your prerogative, but this is how we rock, and this is how the love potion was made on this side. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to beat my eggs really fast and get it out the way. All right. That beautiful cinnamon just smells so good. Let's beat these eggs up. I'm going to add our oil. So this is our wet right now that we're mixing together. And then we'll just add our wet with our dry in a moment. Just real gently. You don't want to add too much beat. You don't want to add too much beat to the eggs at this point, because if you do, it's going to aerate your eggs and it's going to make it too fluffy, and which is nice in a cake, but you need a nice perfect blend. So just beat your eggs enough so they're mixed together and the vanillas mixed together. Take a little bit of stuck honey, throw that bad boy in there, just like that, nice and easy. We're not getting too serious when it comes to the honey because it's an essence that we're throwing. This is the love molecule that we're throwing into that. And if anybody wants to get an idea, stuck honey is something that Supreme Green Cuisine makes. We do a CBD version and we do a THC version, but besides that, we also are making herbed honey. So we do holy basil amongst many other types of honey. But getting back into the recipe, we've got our wet, we've got our dry. Let's throw a dash of cinnamon in it, baby, because I love cinnamon and I think it's a beautiful situation. So you ain't got to do it to your red velvet, baby, but let me tell you something. You might want to. And I didn't do too much. You'd be surprised how a little bit of cinnamon goes a long way. I'm just gonna, real easy, just whip this together because I want it to blend nicely. I don't want it to have a clump of cinnamon out of nowhere. And so I guess, oh, was there cinnamon in that? I want them to almost feel the essence of cinnamon, but move on, just like the water, because it's really about the entire experience. It's not just the cinnamon. It's always a good thing to have a nice towel on your side, by your side at all times, especially in the kitchen. Easy to dry things. And chefs, y'all know about that, but for everybody at home, it's really important to kind of clean up while you work just a little bit, because it can get messy. And messy's okay. You don't want to be having these lovely cupcakes done and then you're like a pile of mess. So we're adding our dry, we're adding our wet. Take my beautiful little spatula. Where's my buddy at? Where's my buddy? And take our beautiful spatula. Just add it together like voila. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix the eggs and the dry batter right now, and then I'll gradually add in the water. Just to give you guys a little perspective, I want to give you a little visual. Here we go. Turn up a little bit more. Get it done. Now, as that's going, I got a nice consistency here, as you can see. Look how beautiful that is. I don't know if you guys can get a zoom in on that, cameraman, but wow, right? Oh, it's absolutely wonderful. Now what we're gonna do is, to get it in more of a batter form, we're gonna gradually add that water. Just mix the baby around. Turn it down a little bit. Turn it down a little bit so you're not going, so it's not everywhere. But just beat it up. So this is smooth right now, which means that it needs to be folded a little bit. There's probably a pocket of dough in here that we just want to play nice. All right. So now we have our batter. And again, this was 3 eggs. This is 1/3 cup of oil. Any oil of your preference. Today we used coconut oil. And also, it's a cup of water. For those of you that are familiar with making red velvet, you know you guys can do it from scratch, and more power to you, because that's the best. But we wanted to incorporate people in this that aren't commonly using the kitchen like we are, and they want to be a part of it. So please, I encourage you to go get that box of red velvet. And we're not adding insanely, like you seen when I did. I added a bit of cinnamon. I added a bit of, I'm not going to add the bourbon in there because it's going to affect the way the cake is going to be baked at this point. If you did want to add the bourbon, you add it inside of your wet. But I have so many other flavors going on, and there's going to be bourbon essence on the inside. We don't want to overpower it. We want everything to have its own tier. So we got our stuck honey in there. And now all we're going to do is fill this bad boy up. Now, one of the most important things that I hope you did that I didn't mention yet is preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Please do that. You do that, you're ahead of the game. Because all you have to do is after we've already made our batter, we're just gonna throw that bad boy in. So as simply as put, come on in, cameraman, and check out the love. And we're not filling these all the way because they're gonna rise. So we're filling them about half. About half. Nice, beautiful, beautiful. Because if you fill it any more than that, it's gonna overrise, and then you're gonna have, you know, it's still gonna be a cupcake. Now we're making some big old cupcakes today, so we're using this muffin tray. I mean, muffins, cupcakes, who knows the difference? Do you? Nah. But our reasoning behind this is because we're going to pipe it. We're going to fill it with that wonderful chocolate that we were discussing a moment ago. You know, there we go. Oh my God, so wonderful. So nice. We're leaving about a quarter, you know. And some of these I get a little jiggy with, you know. There we go. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful and red. Blue velvet cupcake is nice too. I feel like that's going to be like our next one. That's going to be the one for the guys. Make a blue velvet cupcake and put something like really dope and savory on the inside. But I think it really is a wonderful thing when you find your place of zen. When you find that one thing that you love to do and that you can do forever, you should do it for the masses. And that, my friend, is this for me. So we're going to put our lovely red velvet on the bottom tray. All right. And we're going to be doing that bad boy. Excuse me. I would say we'll do it for like 2 days. We'll leave it in there. I'm just kidding. We'll do that for like, I'll check it in like 18 minutes and see what the consistency is. But for the meantime, in between time, I just wanted to get back to this bourbon, because this right here, I had to do this for y'all. A sister of mine was talking about, man, it would be really nice to have a red velvet cake with a chocolate frosting. And she was like, yeah, I know it comes with cream cheese traditionally, but wouldn't it be nice if it was just chocolate? I'm like, you know what? That sounds good. I was like, you know, I might do that. Now, if you look at the consistency of this, y'all, I put cannabis butter in this. I put about 2 ounces, about 1.5 to 2 ounces of cannabis butter. The recipe for this frosting called for a stick of butter. So if you don't know, most frosting is butter based. Most delicious frosting is butter based, and butter and cream. So what I did is I added a portion of the cannabis butter. I added a portion of the regular butter, and then blended that. And then when I put the bourbon to blend in that, firstly I put in some Jim Beam, and I only put a bit of it in there. It started to react in a way where it just started to aerate it more. And then when I beat it, it came out beautiful. When you guys taste this, because you will be able to taste this soon enough, you'll absolutely love it. But like I said, again, differently, what we have piped in here is going to go inside of the, it's going to be our filler inside of the cupcake. And this is going to go on the outside. And it's a beautiful thing. Check that out. Oh my God. Oh my God. And so for the meantime, in between time, we're going to take a break from this, and we're going to show you the second part of Food for Thought. So this is the recipe, and now we're going to get into the poetry. Love, I appreciate y'all. Flex! Hey, peace, guys. So this is the portion of Food for Thought that is the poetry portion. Like I said, I wrote some poems, and I write some recipes at some times, and then I put them together. And this is called lip gloss, aka war paint. Lip gloss may beautify your words. Concealer can only hide for a time. But when your makeup runs and you see what you've become, will you then start to fix inside? My sister, you are more than a lady. You are more than your womanly stride. When will you take the time to see that you are sublime? The only palette created to complement your greatness are the colors that you reveal from inside. You are the center of the universe, cadence of a fire verse from the song of creation by God. And I know they don't hear you, but best believe I feel you, like the heartbeats of a trillion in stride. Your existence is a symphony, fell silent to deaf ears. And I agree this life is real, Ma. 2,000 years to the epoch, 400 years backwards, lies fall out the teapot. So make time, contemplate, concentrate within your stride, within your rhythm, put on your war paint, focus and make a vision. Because lip gloss may beautify your words. Concealer can only hide for a time. But when your makeup runs and you see what you've become, will you then start to fix inside? Peace. So we're gonna check it really quick. I'm gonna take a little fork. Ooh. Gonna be fire. So good. Right. Get it on there. Hot dog. That's lit. These babies, ooh, they're so soft. You see that? And I know like the whole thing is soft. Word. Bam. Give you some orientation. Bam, bam. Bow. Yes. What's making this slower is I'm supposed to be using a butter knife. I just want it's dinner. Butter knife is you just
those were done quicker than I expected.
Yeah. If a cake takes 18 minutes to bake, that took what, half the time? Or maybe a little bit more than half. Yeah, about 12 minutes at the most. For the whole cake concentrated, because it's sitting all together, is why it would take 18. It's just fluffing to cook the core. But these cores are easily cooked like that. Boy, oh, spanking. All right, guys, so welcome back. We've had our moment of baking and mixing and getting to know each other, and now we're at the point where we have this beautiful, lovely red velvet cupcake that we're going to put a hole in. So basically, we're just taking a tool. You could take a butter knife and just gently move around the middle of your cupcake. Not too deep. You don't want to go all the way at the bottom, but just enough so that you get at least about half an inch. You know, you want to go about half an inch in. You can take that and enjoy the love, right? But we're doing that because what we're going to do is we're going to pipe that lovely salted cinnamon chocolate right into this lovely, oh my God, you guys gotta see that. You gotta love that. Come on, come on. Right up to there. I was being a little extra generous because I want you to get that, when you bite into it, just explosion, right? I'm gonna pipe all these bad boys. It gets a little messy sometimes, obviously. So we're just filling in these red velvet cupcakes with that lovely salted chocolate. Oh, goodness. Yeah, and again, I mean, we're baking. We should really be enjoying ourselves. This is a wonderful bite, by the way, because this has, let's just give a rundown in the frosting. We've got bourbon in the frosting, and we've got cannabis butter in the frosting. So it's already going to be a phenomenal wave. Super delicious. Even the richness from both the cannabis and the bourbon playing off of each other is just really super earth. And because I love frosting and I love cannabis, I love sauces, I threw in a little bit of extra butter. But to compensate for that extra butter, I put a little bit of cocoa powder. So we didn't take away from the chocolate essence. Now all we're going to do, see our consistency now is a bit granulated, right? But that's because we put it inside of the refrigerator. So it's a bit thicker than it was. But once we pipe that in and those butters and those sugars get all lovely love together, because I blended it lightly because I didn't want it. Oh man, that's absolutely delicious. You know what? I'm inspired to blend just a bit more. Just to make sure that that's a smooth frosting. Nobody wants a chunky frosting. Again, guys, I really appreciate you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for partaking in Food for Thought. And I hope it's enriched your lives, mind, body, and soul. Okay, guys, so we're back and we have our cupcake done. And we've already filled it with our delicious filler that we had discussed earlier with the sea salt and cinnamon. So again, this is inspired off of the poem Lip Gloss that you guys have heard, aka Warpaint. And what we're gonna do right now, just add the frosting to the top. Going a little old school, I was gonna pipe it, but I was like, you know what? I wanna add a nice dollop on here. So we're just gonna add a little bit at the top, right? And then just work our way around it. So just lightly make sure you can get it all on there. Work your way around, right? And as you work your way around, just lean the spatula inward. And it's gonna give it a nice little top. If you'd like, you can pipe it if you want. And also, just to let you know, because I like to bring a little fun to the party, we're gonna be using some beautiful red sprinkles on top of that for contrast, right? And because we got that bourbon in there, you want to add some nice delicious citrus, and of course with honey, stuck honey, you always want to throw some lemon zest. So we're just gonna zest that real nice like. As a matter of fact, let's just throw another one on there. Let's give it a partner. So we're gonna take that, and just to let you know, so the insides again are filled, and we're just adding that bourbon, delicious bourbon frosting on top. This is a soft, rich frosting. We've whipped it. It's almost mousse-like, and we just want to add a bit of it to the top like such. Nothing too committed, because we're having fun with cupcakes. And the most important part is that you enjoy yourself. You enjoy what you're eating. All right, so really easy cupcake to make. Again, we dash it with a beautiful amount Got red salt, red sugar, excuse me. And, you know, I'm gonna save that for last, but I'm gonna show y'all a little something. And then we didn't zest it again. Nice little zest. Nice little zest. Beautiful zest. See that, guys? All right. And if you'd like to give a little love to it, not directly on it, but just over it, sprinkle cinnamon over it. And if you're feeling sexy, drizzle that stuck honey on it, baby. Oh. Flex and repeat, and you say New York City. Express and repeat, and you say worldwide. Again, I'm your boy, Chef Saint. I truly appreciate you guys for tuning in to Food for Thought. We have our finalized product, which is our red velvet bourbon, chocolate bourbon icing. And it is inspired off of our lipgloss, aka warpaint poem. So my inspiration behind it was to make something that was beautiful and rich on the inside, and even more so special on the inside than it is on the outside. So, you know, a woman is so beautiful. You can give her just a blank palette and she's absolutely beautiful. Or you can put on lip gloss and put on concealer and it'll just it'll amplify your greatness, right? But what really matters is what's on the inside. So if I could for a second, just open up this world and show you guys the beauty that lies within our women. Because lip gloss can beautify your words. Concealer can only hide for a time. But when your makeup runs and you see what you've become, we then start to fix inside. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. There's more food for thought to come. Stay tuned. Flex! My God. Wow. Rich, soft, beautiful, light. Woman. Delicious. And got a little stuck honey on there too, so just to throw you back into perspective of what this cupcake has inside of it. In the chocolate icing, there's bourbon. I used a bit of, what is this, Knob Creek? We used a bit of Knob Creek, and I lightly used a bit of Jim Beam. But for the butter that was required for making the icing, I used a cannabis butter half, and the rest of it I used because it required 4 ounces of butter. So I used a half and half. So that's the icing. Everything else is idle. Everything else has just its natural state of being. The icing on the inside, we added a sea salt and a cinnamon to give that richness, to give that sexiness to which a woman has within, that spice. And that's where we at. Love you guys. Flips! Come get some.